itching, it's just the scars, the flat scars that are left about 6 weeks later. But she cleared up completely. Yes, that was a combination of German, English, measles, and I think also underlying smallpox. Here's a woman that had been experiencing these rashes on and off for about a year. They would come for about 2-3 weeks and then disappear, and then 3-4 months later they'd come again and disappear. And so this is before her session, and this is about 3-4 days after her session.
Looks like lymphomatoid papulosis.
Oh, you can call it whatever you want. Negative viruses
Yeah.
and other
That's
issues.
how that would be by a dermatopathologist. They'd go, oh, that looks exactly like the plaques of lymphoma.
Yeah. She's been with me for 10 years or so. I mean, since we got to this country, yeah. And so she noticed miraculous effects with her daughter and then with herself. And so anything happens to her, this comes to me. But she was so moved, inspired. She received training with Dr. Goyce and then made it to our first training seminar, and she's doing phenomenal. And I see her about every 3-4 months just for touch-up.
Okay.
And that was one arm, here was her other arm. Either way, they simply disappeared. Another one, rash on top, dry scaly skin, and gone.
Is it always the measles when it's on the chest?
I find it is, but it can also be in combination with Coxsackie virus.
So Coxsackie, roseola, you also said smallpox.
Roseola is inguinal lymph with liver.
The chest.
But chest tends to be measles, smallpox, yeah, maybe some herpes from here that spreads down, but either way, it goes away. Here's geographic tongue.
Oh, wow. It's so painful.
Yes, it is.
It is
Yeah,
painful.
what is
Oh,
that?
God, I've seen
It
someone
burns.
go
They
through that.
can't have acidic foods or liquids, and it started to heal and close up.
What is it?
You know, I never found out.
Chinese
She did 3 sessions with me and then totally lost contact, but her improvement was 90%. She didn't come to me for geographic tongue. She came to me for oozing, painful, horrible looking legs.
Do you remember what pairs it was or in what realm? Was it that you
No.
tested every and you did the personal that one?
I did personal pairs, obviously, yeah. But once again, she did not come to me for that. And, you know, the first time I saw her, asked her about everything, and when I think she laughed or something, I noticed that she had that, and I'm like, do you mind if I take a picture, you know, just out of curiosity? And then in her 3rd session, she's like, oh my God, look what I just noticed. And she stuck her tongue out, and I'm like, whoa, I gotta get a picture of this. Here, this tongue, obviously with fungal infection, and this was after one session. After another session, it was completely all pink. Just, it's somewhere lost in my computer and one of the synchronizations, and it goes to a folder, and then it's like, when was that? But it turned completely pink. Here's a woman that came to me with these rashes on her hands for about 2 months, and that was, she said, you know, can you help me? These are painful and burning, and I don't know what to do. I've tried every cream. By the end of the session, these were her hands. That's why she's wearing the same sweater. It's not in a different session. It was inside of the same session. It just, boom, cleared up. Yeah. Wild. Here's ringworm before, after. You can see as it's drying out. Here's a diabetic patient with a swollen, painful foot, and she was considering going to her endocrinologist. Diabetics have to take very good care of their feet, and an infection can just, spread like wildfire. And so that was before the session. This was immediately after the session. You can tell how the edema here and up here just went down significantly, and this was a week later. Just from the session, it completely healed and normalized. So she avoided antibiotics, she avoided going to see her specialist. Here's another tongue with fungus. This woman tried scraping her tongue and cleaning her tongue out as much as possible, and nothing. And after one session, boom, it resolved after another session completely.
Do you have any luck with acne?
Yes, I showed one of my patients with acne
I'm
before.
acne.
Yes. This, I don't know what fungal infection it was, but one session, it cleared up dramatically. This was maybe a week later, and so just that little bit remained, and afterwards it cleared completely. But it was absolutely, definitely some type of fungal infection. Same thing with cradle cap in newborn babies. They get literally that same thing, but up here. And doctors say, oh, don't touch it, it'll go away. No, of course, you should try to gently remove it. And, you could do biomagnetism on the mother or the father and see what's causing it. But it disappears. Here's a fungal infection in the finger that had remained for many years. And so I believe the fungus was hiding out somewhere here, and so as the nail would grow, all the time these ridges would appear. And so about a month and a half or two later, the patient came back, and this ridge was actually this one. It finally just grew out, and she never had those ridges ever again. This gentleman, in the health field, he tried dipping his finger in everything, applying creams, taking antifungals for 6 months, doing absolutely everything possible to try to get rid of this fungus on his finger. He had it for 20 years. After one session, gone, cleared. Here we can see severe fungus on the nails, here on the ridges, and this is after about a month or two. They're practically back to normal. This gentleman, he had completely itchy skin, and I ended up finding parasites in his body. All of these little welts were parasites. And so I put all the parasitic pairs plus whatever resonating bacteria, and the next day he was clear and never suffered from that again. Yes?
When you do the nail fungus on the hands, do you do the thumb to pinky, like just mirroring the foot? Or
No. So we didn't mention it, but as a gift for you guys, thumb also represents fungus, middle finger fungus, and ring finger fungus. Index, as we know, is E. coli, and pinky finger, haven't figured that one out yet. What's that? Index finger is E. coli. We went over that. It's in the book. Thumb, middle finger, and ring finger are fungus.
Anywhere on the finger?
No, it has to be where the tip is.
The tip? Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
On psoriasis or dryness of either the knees or the elbows, also a fungus. This fungus can go away and disappear by placing patellar ligament. Once again, you guys don't have this. This is a gift
Thank you.
of part of the 500 that I am saving for level 2, and that once you guys master the other 350, we could talk about the other hundreds that are left. But patellar ligament with patellar ligament, I believe, harbors that fungus. Here's a baby with measles. Before, after. This is after about 48 hours.
Paula. Paula. Could you go to the right just a little bit? Thanks.
Severe inflammatory reaction, and this is less than 72 hours after. Just tremendous reabsorption, and what a change.
Paula, could you move your bottle? You're fine. You're fine. No. Paula, can you move the green bottle?
Now,
You're on, thanks.
here's measles on the legs, before, after, 72 hours. That was from using swimming pools. Here's a patient before, after. The difference is 6 months, and she had a combination of IV, my IV protocol plus biomagnetism sessions. She absolutely had herpes virus here, she had measles here, she also had smallpox, she also had TB, amongst many other things.
Can you put that up for one more second?
Here's what the Garcia protocol does. We pull out the blood, it looks dark, and then you put in ozone, and it changes to a bright, colorful superoxygenated red. And then you hang that up, and you receive awesome blood, and you feel pumped. You feel like the Incredible Hulk. This is a patient who for 3 years suffered from incredible vertigo. She can't stand straight without holding on.
It's always like that, no matter what.
Yeah. That's before the session, and this is immediately after.
How you feeling? Excellent. Abre los ojos. Put your feet together.
3 years worth of vertigo, and now she can close her eyes and stand still. However, in her case, she has 2 dogs. Her vertigo started 3 years ago. When did she purchase those dogs? 3 years and 3 months ago. Her vertigo started shortly thereafter. And I found distemper, I found Enterobacter pneumonia. I mean, you name it that the dogs had, she had. And so because of that, I knew she's sleeping with her dogs in her bed, and she's kissing them. And so I said, you gotta cut it out, none of that. And somehow or other, you have to place the magnets on your dogs, and you have to, she's down in Florida, and so I told you have to follow up with a biomagnetism practitioner in Florida. And you have to place these pairs on yourself weekly, if not daily, because of your dogs. You have to protect yourself. And she hasn't. She's on disability, and she gets money for being on disability. And so it's in her quote-unquote benefit to stay on disability.
Jeez.
So, yeah. Today, she continues to suffer once again from vertigo because she hasn't done anything about it. And so, yes, she got excited, her parents got excited about that, but she hasn't taken the next step to take care of herself properly. So you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. Here are the malaria parasites.
Yay.
Closer up. And here's a change of melasma before, after. Before you can see the dark rings, after. Much healthier looking skin. This is after 90 days of both biomagnetism and her drinking orally DMSO, as well as taking some antioxidants.